Good day to everybody. I'm GWDeibler. This is my latest painting, Portrait of the Soul. It's a painting that is causing controversy in several ways. Facebook has not allowed it to be a boosted post because they determine it is political. But yet, I see very little that you could consider political about this painting. The painting is about my birth, being born into the body of man, of flesh and blood, in my journey throughout life, the different things that I've learned, the different things that I have seen, both good and bad. If in my head is myself at the age of about 5 years old, just starting out on my journey through life, going to kindergarten. This is my mother. A very wonderful, loving, and caring woman who gave her children everything she could. She's there to symbolize what's the best in motherhood. My brother David, who died within a week after getting married. He was hit by a bolt of lightning through the center of his back. He had a daughter that was born that he never met, a granddaughter he never met. But I know him and my mother are always there with them. Myself, at the age of about 18, when I volunteered and entered the U.S. Navy during the end of the Vietnam War. You'll see also my stepfather around 1964, the picture of him, when he was working at National Cash Register in charge of purchasing. My father is next to him, always looking over, always there. You'll find myself at prayer in the background. And Einstein is there because he symbolizes our current times better than any other person. Without Einstein, we would have been very limited in our knowledge of the world around us and those things that we take for granted each and every day. Over here, I picked presidents that really exemplified the American value and our ways of life. You have there, of course, General Eisenhower, who became President Eisenhower. John F. Kennedy, who stood up and kept the world from the verge of nuclear war and Holocaust. Ronald Reagan, who brought in a time in the country of thinking, a time when we reflected on what it meant to be an American, what it meant to live in a country of great opportunities, a country that welcomed all people with open arms. Martin Luther King Jr., who led American civil rights to new heights. Without him, we would be still in ignorance, poverty, and live in a country of disgrace. Now we come to the other side, and you have an MIA, an unknown American soldier from the Vietnam era, but he symbolizes all wars at all times. Those people that are left behind, or those people who died in action and their remains were never found. Above him, John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Who else could have stayed in bed for a month and had it become world news and shape the way people think and feel, the way they look at each other, the way they look at the world at large and in general? No one. Richard Nixon, the first president I ever remember that we were impeaching, in the process that the country went through. As you see around Richard Nixon, President Nixon, protest against Washington. These are not any particular protest. They symbolize the heart and soul of the American people and their right to protest unfair laws, politicians they do not like, openly, without fear of retribution, a constitutional right of speech, which is guaranteed each and every American from his birth, and everyone who becomes an American and who loves this country in their heart and keeps God in their soul. Leonard Nimoy is in the upper right corner with the all-familiar "Live long and prosper." It's also a symbol of God and his divine wisdom and power and strength, which he gives to each and every one of us without question, as long as we love him, honor him, and cherish his name. Coming across the skies is an airliner in darkness, constantly flying and searching. Then we have President George W. Bush, an American who stood up again and became a president of a war-torn country, where Americans were killed upon our own soil by an attack as dastardly as Pearl Harbor itself upon the American people. That attack, which happened against New York City in the World Trade Center. I had my offices for years at number 1 World Trade Center on the 81st floor. I believe the building and the people that died that day are in my heart and my soul for as long as I live. This painting is not about politics. This painting is about the torch of liberty, the spirit of an American who loves his country and his fellow countrymen. The painting is Portrait of the Soul. It is a portrait of my soul. It shows how we are born. We go through life. Everything we have ever seen, touched, and heard affects and influences who we are. You change one element and you change the person and the eventual outcome. The painting is about my death. And when I die, how the only thing I take with me out of this life is my knowledge, my good deeds, and my love of all humanity and everything on this fragile planet we call the Earth. For those of you who would like to know more about this painting, I have over 240 pictures. Every time I walked away from the canvas or stopped painting, I took a picture of how it was at that time. It shows the painting from its earliest sketch lines being drawn all the way through completion. It is the most documented painting being painted that has ever been produced. My goal with the photographs and the documentation was to make sure that a book could be done of the painting and a gallery or museum show could be put together showing the documentation in the final works. A painting has to be more in our day and age than just an image. You have to be able to reach out and take each person who views it and make them into part of that creation. Let them see and feel how it was created. Let them become part of it. This is the purpose and the goal of the painting, Portrait of the Soul, is to take and let each person share the journey from the beginning, throughout all of the creation, throughout all of the process to the completion of the painting. Thank you very much for watching this and giving me a few moments out of your day. I thank those of you for your continued support of my work and helping me. As with always, any of my posts on Facebook or any social media account, you are always welcome to copy and repost and share with others. Thank you. Now, the Portrait of the Soul.